Think Tank. Well, hello Internet, and today I'm going to teach you how to hypnotize people. Specifically, I'm going to show you how to perform a hypnosis instant induction. The reason I'm doing this presentation today is I was asked. Brittany34 sent me an email requesting that I teach her how to hypnotize people. I suppose she wants to know how to perform a hypnosis instant induction, which is when you pretty much walk up to someone and almost instantly hypnotize them. This is what commonly people want to know. While you will have to practice these techniques, they are the same techniques used by Milton Erickson, who is considered to be one of the greatest hypnotherapists of all time. Hypnosis, like anything else worth learning, will take you a bit of time and practice, but if you believe that the technique will work, this is very, very important. If you get the subject to follow a few simple commands first, if you act with authority when you issue the commands, and continue telling the person that they are indeed being hypnotized, no matter what they do, you should succeed. One way you can help increase your odds is to put them first through a series of what are called suggestibility tests. These are tests that will fool someone into thinking you are really manipulating them. These tests will slowly build up your strength to overwhelm someone. And here's an example of a suggestibility test. Let's say you would tell somebody to look at your finger. You then place your finger on the top of their head and tell them to look at it and then close their eyes. If you then tell them, as they look at your finger, they will find it hard to open their eyes, they in fact will. But the reason why isn't because of your suggestions, it's because of how the muscles work in the eye. It actually, if they look up in the air while their eyes are closed, they will find it very hard to open their eyes back up while looking up where your finger is. Hope that's understandable. So that's an example of a suggestibility test. Here are the basic steps you must follow to quickly hypnotize or how to perform an instant hypnosis induction. First off, you want to build rapport. This is the process of getting the other person to feel comfortable around you. If you're practicing a quick trance induction on a friend, this really should be no problem. Then you want to gain their attention, get them to completely focus on all levels on one thing. And I'll demonstrate how to do that in the directions below. Then you want to lead them into trance. When you notice their eyes are focused completely on what you have directed them towards, lead them deeper into trance, and I'll demonstrate how to do that below. The most famous hypnosis induction is named after Milton Erickson. To start off, you can either take a subject through some suggestibility tests, like I mentioned previously, and I have a whole ton of those on my website if you'd like to see more, or you can just start firing off command. It's best to do this with the client sitting down for safety reasons, of course. You would want to tell them to please sit down and place their feet on the ground, and then demonstrate how to do that. Why are we doing that? This is a simple command, and it's going to get them comfortable with taking more complicated commands off of you later. Then you want to demonstrate and command them to place their hands exactly the way that you demonstrate. Then you want to issue the command I have here on the final bulleted item, and you want to reach out to shake their hand. And you have to think in your mind at this point that you are simply reaching out to shake their hand. Otherwise, they may sense that you're going to do something else. You want to stop just before your hands touch and gently grasp their wrist with your left hand. Point into their palm with your right finger and say, look at any one spot right there. Say this was a surprise, as if it was a question, and then go on to say, and yes, just keep looking at that as your mind relaxes, now closing your eyes. Then you want to issue the final command here. There is no reason to talk. Continue issuing commands that I'm not going to say, just in case you're listening to this in a car. And all we're doing here is we're describing to the person how their body is relaxing. And then in the final bulleted item you see here, right after you say now, the person should be deeply entranced. If you're not comfortable with that hand distraction that I just talked about, here are some other ways you can focus the subject's attention. Instead of grabbing their wrist and pointing at their palm, try the jerk handshake. Now, if you have any doubt that you cannot support your subject's weight, make sure you do this in a seated position. Sit next to the subject and turn towards them and have them do the same to you. Then you want to establish positive rapport by getting the subject to agree with you, or using suggestibility tests like we talked about before. Then you want to reach out to shake the subject's hand, again as if it's going to be a natural handshake. Shake normally and then jerk your hand down and to your right side. But of course you don't want to injure them. A slight tug will do because they will not be expecting this. As you pull them towards you, place your left hand on their neck and pull them towards you in the same motion. And you want to do this as if you're giving them a hug. Again, as you perform steps 3 and 4, command them to sleep now. Speak the same suggestions of relaxation that we talked about previously. Here's another example of how you can distract somebody. Reach out and shake their hand naturally, and while doing so, you want to stare into your subject's eyes and let the handshake naturally come to a stop, but hold their hand loosely at this point. Slowly, as you release your hand, you want to randomly touch different parts of their hand. Look through the subject or between their eyes at this point, and begin deepening their thoughts with commands to relax, like we used in the previous demonstrations. Continue to touch their hand lightly while continuing those commands. And now for the master trance induction. I've seen this work on even the most stubborn of people. It works mainly because you are assaulting subject senses on all levels, all at the same time. Even better yet, you will know when they're deep in trance because they are going to stop counting. You want to stand behind the subject, tell them to stand up straight with your feet, shoulder length apart, and then you want to notify them that they're doing what you want by saying great. Then tell them, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to start counting backwards, 3 numbers at a time. Count backwards in 3s, starting at 300, out loud so I can hear you. As you count, I will place my hands on your shoulders now. Place hands lightly on the shoulders. Now I'll begin to turn you in circles. If you find it easier to fall into a comfortable deep trance, go ahead. And you want to tell them, be comfortable in knowing you are in good hands. You can begin counting now. As they begin counting, turn them slowly around. Don't jerk them. As they turn and count, give them suggestions that will relax them like I gave previously. Then you want to tell them, as you count, it is so difficult to keep your attention. You are now spinning, your mind's spinning. Where do those numbers go? You will soon let go into trance, so comforting, no need to think of numbers anymore. Then you want to say, as your eyes feel heavy, heavier now, let them close. No need to count, but relax. Once they stop counting, they will be deep in trance and ready for more suggestions. Like I said before, this trance induction works almost every time, and what makes it great is the fact that you will know when they're in trance because they'll stop counting. I recently put it out there that you guys can hit me with any questions that you have within reason. Recently, I received the following questions. How do I stop thinking about people who are mean to me? Or how do I control my emotions? How do I win an argument? And what is the tea party? These questions will be answered very soon. If you have any questions of your own, please leave them in the comment section below. Till next time.